The views of secularism, humanism, post-agnosticism, all of these things are all New Age identifiers for what was traditionally known as materialism. In the 3rd century BC, Lucretius wrote a book. It's a book-long poem called On the Nature of Things, and it was basically trying to explain Epicurean philosophy, which is materialism, to a Roman audience. At this point, Stoicism was taking over, so the idea that feelings don't matter and that we are to experience pain and pleasure without any external representation, that we are basically to be, stoic, like robots, basically. That would be Stoicism. And there are definitely values like wisdom and knowledge that are within that. And this is not entirely in line with Christianity, but we do see materialism fade out of a primary philosophical holding until around the 17th century when Thomas Hobbes comes on the scene. Materialism itself is basically a quasi-religion. Like it's basically the religion of humanity. There is a belief that there is no God, no ultimate reasoning, no immortal soul, and that all of morality is simply a human construct. Everything that we know is entirely learned. There is no conscience or utmost reality that we would ascribe to. It is all conditioned. As we've talked about the last several days, Democritus held the theory of the atom, that the atom was the smallest particle that could ever exist, because if it could be broken down, that it would create an infinite levels of structure that each level would need explanation, which would not uphold the idea that he ascribed to, that infinity, immortality, anything did not exist. Nowadays, obviously, we know that an atom is comprised of protons, neutrons, electrons. There are a bunch of different components to it. And so we've moved away from that theory and integrated it into physics, quantum physics, relativity theory, all of these pieces. And so we basically have this idea of a field of energy instead of concrete matter, and that matter itself would be an energetic property, and moving into more of these philosophical anomalies that some of these philosophers know and understand today. So beginning tomorrow, we're going to start discussing the classical worldview prior to the Christian era. So looking at Plato and Aristotle and the Stoics, understanding what philosophy looked like at that time, what were the underlying beliefs, and how people were pursuing and living their lives, what were their goals, what were their understandings at that point in time. I'm doing my best to keep this book study in the most understandable terms, I guess you could say. I'm trying to not get too complicated, especially for TikTok and YouTube. So if you are interested in learning the more finite details about this, I do recommend going ahead and ordering After the Natural Law and getting it on order. Just read it alongside me. Like I said, the sections are just a few pages a day, and that's just what I'm reviewing. And I would love to have you on this with me and challenge my thought, challenge the thought that I'm presenting, and get to know, respectfully, but get to know a way of thinking, a philosophy of the world that may differ from how you understand the world. That's the only way that we can grow, is through dialogue. And so I welcome that and I encourage that, and I hope that you'll take me up on it. So God bless, and talk to you guys soon.